The rules of digital marketing are changing, and I mean literally overnight. If your customers stop using Google and start asking an AI for advice, well, billions of dollars are about to change hands. Welcome to DeepResearchGlobal.com podcast. Today, we are breaking down the definitive agreement for Adobe to acquire Semrush Holdings. Now, I want to be clear. This is not just another tech merger. This is a $1.9 billion all-cash bet that AI has completely rewritten the future of brand visibility.
That's exactly right. I think the material we're looking at, it's more than just a press release. It's a roadmap for investors. My goal here is to really distill the why behind this move. What does this mean for marketing and, more importantly, for any brand trying to stay visible in this new era of, well, what we're calling agentic AI?
Okay, so let's ground this in the numbers first for our listeners. The deal was announced on November 19th, 2025.
And it's an all-cash transaction. Adobe is paying $12 per share for Semrush.
Which gives it a total equity value of approximately, what, $1.9 billion?
Yeah, but the price tag itself, that's only half the story. I think for an investor, the real insight is in the premium they paid. That $12 a share, that was a jump of about 77.5% over Semrush's closing price from the day before.
Wow.
A 77% premium.
When a company pays a premium like that, you have to ask what they're buying that justifies it. It's not physical assets.
Yeah.
They are buying data, expertise, and I think critically, relevance in a future that's just arriving way faster than anyone expected.
Exactly. This wasn't just a normal acquisition. I'd call it an emergency purchase of necessary intelligence. The market reacted instantly, too. Semrush shares, they jumped 55% in pre-market trading.
Which just confirms that the market saw Semrush as, frankly, undervalued for this new AI ecosystem.
It does. It signals that investors understood Adobe was buying market gravity, buying a seat at the table for the next phase of the internet.
And as far as the mechanics, it needs regulatory approval, stockholder approval. But the founders and key stockholders, who hold over 75% of the voting power, they've already committed.
Yeah.
So this deal has unstoppable momentum.
It seems so. Expected to close in the first half of 2026.
Okay, so let's pivot to the strategic side of this. This price, this premium, it's all being driven by one thing.
It is. It's about the threat and the opportunity of generative AI and large language models, or LLMs. This acquisition is both a defensive and an offensive move because brand visibility is now, and I'm quoting here, top of mind for chief marketing officers.
And I think we know why. Consumers aren't just typing keywords into a search box anymore. Yeah. They're having conversations with AI. They're asking ChatGPT or Gemini for, product recommendations, for comparisons.
And that's the key difference. An LLM doesn't give you a list of 10 blue links. It gives you a summary. It curates information. It essentially becomes a new gatekeeper between the customer and the brand.
It's a new interface, as the announcement puts it. This is where we need to introduce some new vocabulary. We all know SEO, search engine optimization. But the documents keep emphasizing a new term, GEO, Generative Engine Optimization.
Right. And it's a critical distinction for anyone investing in this space. If SEO is about getting a search engine to rank your page highly, GEO is about getting an AI agent to understand and represent your brand correctly in a summary.
So it's a shift from optimizing for placement to optimizing for interpretation.
Precisely. And that's what Semrush is bringing to the table. They have a decade of data that's essential for a brand to remain, quote, discoverable in AI search.
And this brings us to the number. The one statistic that I think justifies this entire $1.9 billion valuation.
I know the one you mean. It's from Adobe Analytics.
Traffic from generative AI sources to U.S. retail sites. It increased by 1,200% year over year in October of 2025.
1,200%. I mean, let that sink in. That kind of growth in 1 year means this new interface is rapidly becoming the dominant interface.
Absolutely. If a brand ignores GEO, they're not just losing a few customers. They're on their way to becoming invisible. That velocity, that 1,200%, that's what Adobe paid for.
It is. They bought a bridge to the future of discovery.
So we've talked about the why. Let's get into the how. What does this combined company actually do for a marketer? Adobe is saying it's leading customer experience orchestration in the agentic AI era. That's, a bit of corporate speak.
It is, but what it really means is that they want to own the entire content supply chain. From creation to discovery. They're taking Semrush's SEO and GEO expertise and bolting it directly onto their digital experience business.
So you create something in Photoshop or Adobe Experience Manager.
And then you use the Semrush intelligence to make sure that AI agents can actually find it and, more importantly, understand it correctly. It closes the loop.
And Semrush isn't a small player here. They have serious enterprise credibility.
Oh, absolutely. They were seeing 33% year-over-year recurring revenue growth in their enterprise segment. They're trusted by huge names: Amazon, JP Chase, TikTok.
So Adobe is buying that established trust and scaling ability within the Fortune 100, where they already dominate with their creative tools.
Exactly. The goal, according to the CEOs, is to give marketers a single holistic understanding of their brand's performance across their own website, across LLMs, across traditional search, all in one place.
Adobe's executive, Anil Chakravarthy, he put it plainly. He said this unlocks GEO as a new growth channel.
And the Semrush CEO, Bill Wagner, echoed that. He said it gives marketers more capabilities to increase their discoverability. The message is laser focused on this new landscape.
Now, we do have to put this in the broader context of Adobe's year. Their stock has fallen, more than 27%? There's been pressure on them to monetize their AI products faster.
That pressure is certainly a factor, and we can't ignore their recent history either. I mean, that failed $20 billion acquisition of Figma last year, that's still fresh in investors' minds.
That's a good point. That deal fell apart because of regulatory pressure. Is there a risk of that happening here?
I think it's a much lower risk. This is a $1.9 billion deal, not 20. And the strategic justification is different. With Figma, regulators saw it as consolidating a market and removing a competitor.
But with Semrush,
With Semrush, Adobe can argue they are integrating a tool to solve a new problem for customers, the problem of AI visibility. It's about adapting to a changing market, not just buying out your main rival. I think that's a much cleaner argument for regulators.
that makes sense. Strategically, what this confirms for me is that the real battle for customers is moving from the search bar to the AI chat window.
And this is where it gets really interesting for the long-term allocation of marketing spend. This is a huge bet on organic discovery and intelligence, not just paid ads.
So to sum this up, Adobe paid a very high price for Semrush. But what they may have done is critical: early access to what is arguably the next major marketing channel, Generative Engine Optimization.
I think that's the key takeaway for you, the investor. Brand visibility is now a hybrid game. It's about maintaining your traditional SEO while you build out this new specialized GEO intelligence. That 1,200% growth figure proves this isn't optional anymore. It's urgent.
Which leaves us with a final thought to mull over. If these AI platforms are becoming the trusted interface, the personal concierge between a customer and a brand, what happens to the billions of dollars currently spent on platforms that only sell paid ads, the ones that rely on clicks?
It's just a fundamental long-term reallocation of digital marketing budgets is just beginning. A shift away from paying for clicks and toward investing in the value of, well, AI-driven curation.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe to deepresearchglobal.com for more latest business news briefs, company analysis, and investment insights.